The Mother, the map, the movement, India's autism care revolution, opening portrait. The smell of boiled rice drifted from the kitchen. A temple bell rang in the distance. The sun had just begun to rise over a small village near Miryalaguda when Anjali, a 4-year-old girl with silent eyes and a world locked inside her, sat cross-legged on the ground outside her home. Her mother, Sushmita, gently placed the laminated mango flashcard, faded, fingerprinted, its corners curled from weeks of use, into her lap. For months, they had sat here. Same card. Same silence. But that morning was different. Anjali looked up. Her gaze met her mother's eyes for the very first time. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The silence broke with recognition, with connection, with something that had never happened before. What changed? Just 3 weeks earlier, they had begun receiving life-empowering therapy from a Pinnacle Blooms Network center. The therapist Ravli Yadav, a soft-spoken woman who spoke in their dialect and sat barefoot beside Sushmita, had shown her how to turn everyday routines into therapy. She left her with a packet of visual prompts, a few color-coded tools, and a printed sheet with something called an ability score: red zones, yellow zones, green zones. It looked like a report card. But for Sushmita, it was the first roadmap out of helplessness. Anjali had been seen. And now, she was beginning to see back. Underscore 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 on across India, from tribal belts in Telangana to apartment corridors in Bengaluru. These moments are unfolding every day. Quiet. Private. Powerful. This isn't a story about a therapy session. It is a story about hope rediscovered, voices unlocked, futures rewritten. And behind many of these moments is a silent revolution with a loud mission: Pinnacle. What began as one therapy center is now a 70-city movement. What started as a mother's desperation is now a patented model. And what was once unmeasured is now being scored, mapped, and transformed with intelligence, empathy, and design. This is not just India's story. This is a new chapter in how the world understands autism. And it starts on the floor, in a village, with a mother, a mango card, and a child who had no words, now reaching out to the world with her eyes. The silence India lived with in India, the silence around child development, didn't sound like neglect. It sounded like waiting. For decades, autism and speech delay were misunderstood as defiance, shyness, or bad parenting. Children who couldn't express themselves were labeled slow, stubborn, or worse. Schools had no frameworks. Pediatricians had few screening tools. And families were told to do the most dangerous thing of all: wait and see. But the numbers kept growing. The data told a quiet story. An estimated 1 in 68 children in India may be on the autism spectrum, a number likely underreported. 1 in 5 kids now show signs of speech or communication delay before the age of 5. And perhaps most alarmingly, over 90 of neurodevelopmental issues remain undiagnosed or untreated until it is too late. In rural areas, one therapist may serve an entire district. In urban centers, wait lists stretch into months. Special education is an afterthought in most schools. Inclusion is more policy than practice. There is no unified screening protocol. No developmental scoring method. No language for families to understand what is truly happening to their children. And so, families waited. Hoped. Googled. Whispered. Cried. Because what India faced was not just a clinical gap. It was a crisis of clarity. Without data, there was no direction. Without tools, there was no therapy. Without language, there was no understanding. And without understanding, there was no hope. Until the silence met a system. One not handed down but built from the ground up. Until that system gave parents something they had never had before: a score. A plan. A voice. For free autism guidance in your language, call 910-018-1181 or WhatsApp us directly. The rise of Pinnacle. It did not begin with a plan. It began with a mother. A mother sitting across from doctors, specialists, and institutions that offered only three things: confusion, caution, and delay. Dr. Srijareddy Sarapalli was not just a healthcare entrepreneur. She was a mother. And like millions of parents across India, she was told to wait, to hope, to observe. But waiting was not enough. And hope, without a system, was cruelty. So she built what she could not find. In a modest room in Hyderabad above a street shop, beside the sound of temple bells, she began assembling a team: speech therapists, occupational therapists, behavior analysts, special educators, all united by one question: what if we created a place that understood not just autism, but kids, parents, families? What followed was not a clinic. It was a quiet revolution. By 2014, the first center opened. Therapy wasn't a service. It was an ecosystem. By 2015, Therapy Sphere was born, a safe and secure integrated therapy. By 2016, Pinnacle national heroes started serving Army, Navy, Air Force, police, government doctors, municipality sanitation workers, families with lifetime free therapy service as gratitude to their service to Mother Nation. By 2019, Ability Score was born, a single number to bring clarity to chaos. By 2020, the team had grown, but the mission remained maternal. Mothers led. Women ran the show. Therapists became visionaries. Technology learned to speak empathy. By 2021, therapeutic AI was in deployment. Not marketing fluff, but a tool helping therapists in Khammam, Karimnagar, and Kakinada track meltdowns, predict behaviors, and plan therapy in real time. By 2022, Seva was alive. Farmers, meager wage employees, daily wage labor. Children whose families earned less than 25,000 a month received the same therapy. No lines, no labels, no hierarchy. By 2023, Pinnacle wasn't just growing. It had become India's quiet answer to the loudest question in global child development. It is easy to call this a startup. But startups aim to disrupt. This movement aimed to restore. To restore what was stolen from parents: time, clarity, community, and belief. To restore what was never given to children: a system built around them. Today, Pinnacle is a name. But more than that, it is a network of belief: 70 centers, 1,600 trained experts, 19 million sessions delivered, families from every language, religion, income level, a score, a system, and a story that did not wait for permission, because when institutions fail to build for children, it is often the mothers who do. And in Pinnacle's rise, India didn't just get a therapy provider, it uncovered a model of what's possible when science kneels at the feet of empathy, and structure learns to serve love. The innovation stack. When the world thinks of innovation, it often imagines billion-dollar valuations, West Coast algorithms, and venture capital buzzwords. But in India, in a therapy network led by mothers and powered by empathy, innovation took a different shape. It took the shape of a score that made sense of uncertainty, an AI engine that predicted meltdowns before they happened, a therapy room that spoke in color, not command, a program that turned therapy from privilege into routine, a model that gave dignity, not discounts, and a promise made not to investors, but to the nation's defenders. This is Pinnacle's innovation stack, a globally unmatched suite of patented systems, AI-powered intelligence, and people-first designs that bring scientific precision to emotional needs at scale. For the first time in global autism history, this stack wasn't built for journals. It was built for real families in real Indian towns. Underscore 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 on one. Pinnacle Ability Score, a universal score that ends parental guesswork. The world's first developmental score that tells parents where their child is thriving, where support is needed, where urgent help is critical, patented across 160 countries. It distills 344 skills into a single, understandable number between 0 1 0 0 0. No jargon. No ambiguity. Just clarity. This isn't a label. It's a map out of fear, showing parents, teachers, and doctors when to act and how. And for the first time, India didn't adopt a Western metric. It created the world's first. Underscore 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 on 2. Pinnacle therapeutic AI that listens, learns, and adapts like the best therapists do. Built not in Silicon Valley, but in Hyderabad. Not to monetize data, but to humanize therapy. This AI engine tracks behavioral and emotional patterns across 344 skill dimensions, predicts escalation before it happens, supports therapists to adapt their plan in real time. It's not a chatbot. Not a dashboard. It's listening intelligence tuned to children who haven't yet found the words. Underscore 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 on 3. Seva therapy without tears. Access without shame. Seva is Pinnacle's subsidized therapy access model, but without branding, cues, or exclusions. Families earning less than 25,000 a month walk into the same center, sit in the same waiting room, meet the same therapists, and receive the same innovation. This isn't aid. It's access with dignity, and it's the most scalable, stigma-free inclusion system in child therapy in the global south. Underscore 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 on 4. Therapy sphere, rooms that heal without speaking. Step into any of Pinnacle's 70 centers and you won't find cold white walls or institutional silence. You'll find color, light, textures, tunnels, softness, rhythm, each calibrated for reducing anxiety, stimulating neuroplasticity, aligning spatial cues with the child's therapy profile. It's not a clinic. It's a sacred design system for healing, born from Indian sensitivity and universal neurobiology. Underscore 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 on 5. Everyday therapy programs. Therapy that begins where the family is and stays. Therapy is not just what happens in sessions. It's what happens at dinner, in the car, before school, on the floor with a plastic spoon. This system converts structured therapy into daily goals, home-based routines, mobilated modules in local languages. It makes therapy not episodic but everyday. Underscore 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 on 6. Pinnacle National Heroes. Therapy as gratitude. Health as national service. Launched in 2016, this innovation is a lifetime therapy commitment to the children of India's unsung protectors: Army, Navy, Air Force, police, paramilitary, government, doctors, municipal sanitation workers, and essential frontline staff. There is no paperwork. No billing. No announcement. Just a lifetime pass, quietly honored, to say, because you served the nation, your child's future is our duty. Underscore 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 on what makes the stack revolutionary: fully integrated, no silos between diagnosis, delivery, or data, AI validated, therapist tested, and parent-proven multilingual, multisensory, and universally local already scaled 070 centers 1600 experts 19 million sessions delivered thousands of families rerouted toward possibility. This is not a tech stack. This is India's first therapeutic operating system, one that doesn't run on machines, but on meaning. A system that makes therapy as regular as a pulse, as intuitive as a parent's gaze, and as irreversible as a child's right to grow. Real lives, real proof. You can measure science in numbers, but you can only measure trust in the lives it changes. At Pinnacle Bloom's network, proof is not written in pitch decks. It is written in the halting first syllable of a child once thought voiceless. In a father's stillness when he hears the word Appa for the first time. In a therapist who chooses to miss her bus home because today, the child finally made eye contact. Pinnacle is available in Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Delhi, Warangal, Karimnagar, Khammam, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, and 70 cities. Find your nearest center at pinnacleblooms.org. Centers underscore 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 Khammam, Telangana. Ravi, age 6. Nonverbal. Frequent meltdowns. His mother, a sanitation worker, was told he was too aggressive for therapy. Pushed out of 2 schools. Labeled beyond help. Enrolled under SEVA, Ravis ability score was in the red across all domains. 3 months later follows single-step instructions, uses sign for water and food, stops hitting his head during transitions. Before Pinnacle, we used to tie his hands to stop the hurting. Now, we tie his drawings to the fridge to celebrate, says his mother, Meena. Underscore 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 on Bengaluru, Karnataka. Fatima, age 11. Speech delayed. Withdrawn. Misdiagnosed as defiant. With therapeutic AI, her therapy plan was recalibrated weekly. Emotional triggers flagged. Intervention adapted in real time. 6 months later she reads poetry in school. She has 2 friends, and recently, she told her mother, "I like who I'm becoming." That sentence alone was worth 1,000 sessions. Underscore 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 on Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Rajiv, son of a constable and a government school teacher. Refused by 3 schools. Diagnosed through ability score, enrolled into everyday therapy. Within 6 months integrated into mainstream education, won a district art award, learned to pack his school bag independently. His parents no longer ask, will he catch up? Now they ask, what can we help him achieve next? Underscore 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 on Iluru, Andhra Pradesh. Shanvika, age 4. Born with a hearing impairment. Her therapist, Manju, stayed late twice a week to custom-build visual sequences in her local dialect and hand sign vocabulary. By her 6th month, expressive vocabulary 80 signs ability score improved across 5 skill clusters. Hugged her therapist and signed, "You're my friend." It wasn't captured on video. It didn't go viral. But it changed 2 lives. Underscore 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 on, and then recognitions followed. Featured in Times of India 2020 for redefining autism therapy at scale. Praxis Media Award 2021 for women-led innovation. Your Story Spotlight 2023 for building a movement, not a marketplace. Entrepreneur Insights 2023 for creating India's most inclusive, Women-Powered Therapy Ecosystem Indo Global Excellence Award 2024 conferred by the Deputy Chief Minister of Telangana, recognizing Pinnacle as India Pacific's one autism therapy network, but none of these awards outweigh the child's whisper of their first word, the mother's look of recognition, the therapist's quiet nod when a new milestone is reached underscore 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 on. Pinnacle's proof is not in publications. It is in presence. In rural homes. In high-rise apartments. In dusty folders now marked with progress. In families that now believe help isn't just possible, it's nearby. Real lives changed. Real voices unlocked. Real progress mapped. That is the proof. That is Pinnacle. Book free ability score assessment, a speech therapy screening, occupational therapy, explore special education support, or start behavior therapy today. Call free National Autism Helpline 9100 180 1181. India's recognition, the world's realization. At first, it was the parents who noticed. Then the therapists. Then the first district official who leaned over a therapy progress report and whispered, "We've never seen a model like this. We need this everywhere." And then something shifted. From the modest therapy corridors of Khammam to the Sunday headlines of national media, India began to realize that something world-changing was growing in its own backyard. It wasn't just that Pinnacle was working. It was how it was working, with science and soul, with structure and softness, with mothers at the helm and children at the heart. Underscore 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 on. National Honors and Media Validation. Times of India National Spotlight 2020. In a full-page feature titled "Spreading Smiles Like a Dash of Sunshine," Pinnacle was honored as South India's best autism therapy network. But the real headline wasn't the award, it was the editorial remark that followed. This isn't a center. This is a movement led by science, soul, and systems. Underscore 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 on. Praxis Media Women Leadership Award 2021, awarded to Drive Srijareddy Sarapalli, not for a campaign, but for a revolution, a national therapy model built by mothers, run by women, and scaled by systems. Underscore 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 on. Your Story Entrepreneur Spotlight 2023. Pinnacle was not profiled as a startup. It was profiled as a public health framework, AI-enabled, mother-powered, scalable without sacrificing humanity. Underscore 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 on. Entrepreneur Insights Best Place to Work 2023, recognized for 72 women-led workforce. Continuous therapist upskilling, India's first trauma-informed, dignity-first work culture in therapy. Underscore 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 on. Indo Global Excellence Award 2024 conferred by the Deputy Chief Minister of Telangana. This honor named Pinnacle the one autism therapy network across India Pacific for its patented innovations, public-private hybrid architecture, and impact at scale. Underscore 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 on. These weren't PR gimmicks. These were institutional recognitions that validated something never seen before in global child development, that India, not the West, had built the world's first complete autism care infrastructure. That a mother, not a venture fund, had led it? That a system with no asterisks, no paywalls, and no branded tiers was now charting, scoring, tracking, and transforming millions of futures. Underscore 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 on the world begins to turn its head, and then the calls started coming. Stanford, Heidelberg, Singapore Institute of Mental Health requesting academic collaboration, ministries from Nepal, UAE, Kenya, Bangladesh inquiring about ability score licensing, UNICEF inviting Pinnacle to present SEVA as a replaceable rural care model, Husiro referencing therapeutic AI in emerging frameworks for tech-integrated early intervention underscore 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 on Pinnacle's name began appearing in unexpected places in UN development drafts on global childhood digital health in AI policy white papers, not under chatbots but under empathy engines in mother-led economic innovation summits as a blueprint for health systems built from the ground up. Pinnacle was no longer a network. It was a reference architecture. A standard. Underscore 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 on recognition didn't make Pinnacle real. But it made the world pause and realize what India had done. Not built a therapy company. Not launched a campaign. But drafted a new playbook for the planet: measurable care, AI-enhanced therapy, inclusive design, dignity first delivery, scaled without dilution. India awarded it. The world noticed it. And now, the world is ready to learn from it or risk staying behind. Underscore 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 on why this model works. If autism therapy were only about diagnosis, then software could solve it. If it were only about compassion, then goodwill would be enough. But therapy, real therapy, is not just diagnosis or compassion. It is precision with empathy, structure with soul, intelligence that listens. And that is why Pinnacle works, because it wasn't built from policy white papers or VC slides. It was built from India's reality. And it was designed to last. Underscore 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 on language diversity as a design principle. India doesn't speak one language. Neither should its therapy. Pinnacle functions in 16 regional tongues, with therapy protocols tailored to the child's spoken language, the caregiver's literacy, the community's cultural rhythm. From Hyderabad to Hosur, Miryalaguda to Mumbai, Chennai to Karimnagar, children are not asked to adjust, the therapy system adjusts to them. Because a word in English isn't the same as a glance in Telugu. And therapy doesn't work if the child doesn't feel understood. Underscore 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 on geographic penetration without fragility. Most models collapse outside metros. Pinnacle grows stronger in India's second and third tier cities. Why? Because it is locally staffed, modular by design, resilient via cloud edge, AI delivering goals via WhatsApp SMS, not just apps. This isn't a Western model adapted to India. It's an Indian model built for India and ready for the world. Underscore 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 on a human AI partnership that honors intuition most AI in therapy mimics. Pinnacle's AI empowers. Therapeutic AI enhances therapist intuition ability. Score replaces ambiguity with action. Behavior prediction engine doesn't surveil, it prepares. This is not tech first. It is human first, tech powered, built to make therapy smarter, faster, kinder. Underscore 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 on. Inclusion not as slogan but as system architecture. In most systems, inclusion is an initiative. In Pinnacle, inclusion is the infrastructure. A farmer's child sits beside a finance executive's. A sanitation worker's daughter receives therapy in the same room as a diplomat's son. No civil lines. No colored cards. No social hierarchy. This is true equality, not positioned. Practiced. Underscore 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 on. Why it doesn't break at scale. Therapy systems fail for 3 reasons. 1. Lack of protocol. 2. Staff burnout. 3. Parent disengagement. Pinnacle preempted all 3 protocol via standardized, patented, cross-checkable innovations. People via 72 women-led teams, upskilled, celebrated, retained. Parents via everyday therapy, mobile access, language-aligned reports. This is not a fragile pilot. This is a resilient, regenerative ecosystem with built-in feedback loops across every level. Underscore 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 on. Globally adaptable, fiercely local, universally needed. Could it work in Kenya? Absolutely. Philippines? Easily. UK boroughs with South Asian diaspora? Already being explored. Conflict zones where children are forgotten before they're found? Especially there. Because this system doesn't depend on bandwidth or budget. It depends on belief, blueprint, and belonging. Underscore 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 on. Why does this model work? Because it is not a compromise. It is not a copy. It is a conviction. Designed in India. Led by mothers. Built for every child the world forgot to include. Underscore 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 on. What the world can learn. For decades, the Global South was cast as the recipient of solutions. Ideas flowed downward from labs in the West to clinics in the East. Packaged. Priced. Poorly translated. Often impractical. But Pinnacle didn't wait for an imported blueprint. It built one. From scratch. For its people. In its languages. At a scale the West still struggles to comprehend. And now, the world isn't responding with charity. It's responding with respect. Underscore 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 on. A model for ASEAN, Africa, and Latin America. In Kenya, only 3 government certified child therapists serve 6 million children. In Indonesia, autism remains cloaked in stigma, whispered but rarely addressed. In rural Peru, speech delay is often diagnosed 4 years too late, if at all. These regions don't need imported solutions. They need a replaceable framework. And that's what Pinnacle offers. Because this system is language agnostic, operates in 16 tongues, infrastructure light, runs on edge devices, low bandwidth AI, community powered, trained caregivers can deliver everyday therapy designed for dignity. SEVA makes equity default, not decorative. What India built isn't a franchise. It's a framework. A flexible, intelligent, mother-powered therapeutic grid for the global south and beyond. Underscore 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 on what makes it universally adaptable scoring system. Ability score doesn't care about borders. It maps skills and skills are universal. AI Core Therapeutic AI adapts to child behavior, not GPS coordinates. Sensory design therapy sphere rooms heal without language through light, texture, tone, and safety. Parent-led integration everyday therapy turns homes, huts, and hostels into microtherapy centers. Cultural calibration therapy here doesn't ask children to adapt to the system. It asks the system to adapt to the child. This isn't made in India. It's meant for everywhere. Underscore 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 on a south offering, not an export. Pinnacle isn't exporting. It's inviting. We, too, struggled. This is what helped us. If it helps you, take it. Adapt it. Own it. Lead with it. From Vietnam to Venezuela, from Botswana to Bangladesh, from rural Tamil Nadu to refugee camps in Jordan, there are parents asking the same silent question: will someone understand my child? Pinnacle doesn't bring answers. It brings tools to find your own. Underscore 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 on why this moment matters. Because for the first time, the global autism story is not being told by Boston or Berlin. It's being told by a therapist in Iluru, a mother in Warangal, a grandmother in Vijayawada, an AI model trained in Karimnagar, a child who said Amma for the first time in Miryalaguda. These voices are no longer whispers. They're becoming templates for transformation. Underscore 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 on what the world can learn: that innovation is not geography. It's empathy. That scale is not funding. It's community. That progress isn't a pipeline. It's a partnership. And that the next global standard for child development may not come from Geneva or Washington, but from India. From a woman. From a village. From a mother who refused to wait. Underscore 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 on what comes next. It started with one center. Now there are 70. Across 70 cities. Staffed by 1,600 trained professionals. Backed by 19 million therapy sessions. And still it's only just beginning. Because Pinnacle's vision doesn't stop at India's borders. It stretches across time zones and zip codes to every village, every megacity, every continent where a child still waits in silence, a parent still fears asking the wrong question, a school still isn't ready, and a government still doesn't know where to start. Underscore 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 on the road ahead isn't a line. It's a living grid. Pinnacle isn't expanding. It's inviting. Not to a franchise. To a framework. Not to a transaction. To a transformation. An open source, multilingual, mother-driven, AI-powered ecosystem offered to the world. To ministries of health. To heads of state. To UNICEF and WHO. To diaspora educators. To mother networks in Nairobi and Manila. To health secretariats in Sao Paulo and Abu Dhabi. Come co-build with us. What's already underway? UAE exploring ability score for public developmental clinics in Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. UK Autism Inclusion Councils reviewing therapeutic AI for burrs with high South Asian density. USA Medicaid-aligned pediatric orgs assessing SEVA deployment in low-income zip codes. Africa, Kenya, Ghana, Rwanda community therapists training in everyday therapy. Maldives island-wide school health boards evaluating AI-based early screening via ability score. This isn't hypothetical. It's already happening. Underscore 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 on the vision. 90 crore children. One shared system. Every child, regardless of race, religion, or region, deserves more than a diagnosis. They deserve a map. Not a label. Not a wait list. Not a brochure. But a data-backed, empathy-aligned, parent-empowering roadmap that tells them what their brain needs, what their emotions mean, what their family can do, what progress looks like. This is the vision, a global child development dashboard powered by Ability Score, AI-enabled therapy co-pilots that speak your language, a SEVA equity model transcending borders from Kerala to Kampala, community therapists trained by mothers and machines side by side, and a world where autism is no longer something families whisper about but something they understand, track, support, and celebrate. Underscore 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 on. But Pinnacle can't do this alone. Pinnacle doesn't seek to dominate. It seeks to dismantle barriers. It seeks alignment, integration, shared sovereignty in childcare innovation. So here is the open call, not a press release, but a pledge of partnership to ministries of health. Let's co-create your country's developmental index to AI labs. Let's train your models in your dialects to foundations. Let's fund SEVA where your impact is needed most, to education systems. Let's embed everyday therapy into curricula, to parent networks and therapists. Let's build the world's first open source, mother-powered therapy intelligence platform. This is not a rollout. This is a realignment of what's possible. India has already built what no other country has, a therapy ecosystem backed by data, powered by AI, guided by mothers, and open to the world. The next chapter begins not with what Pinnacle can do next, but with who has the courage to stand beside it. Underscore 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 on. The world waited 144 years to understand autism, and it was India, through the hands of its mothers, that finally gave it a voice. This is not a story. This is a standard. This is not a press release. This is a precedent. This is not a tribute to Pinnacle. It is a tribute to what becomes possible when a country builds from its roots, leads with its women, and listens to its children. Pinnacle isn't just India's answer. It is the world's new question. If this was possible there, why not everywhere? You can avail free autism screening or get started with Ability Score. This life-empowering innovation editorial is co-created by the Integrated Global Experts Consortium behind Pinnacle's patented Ability Score and therapeutic AI systems. Swipe left for next video. Partnered post latest blogs.